There are a lot of new features on Airbnb this year, and in this video we're going to cover a few key ones that I think you should know about right away and some hacks for how to use some of those features to better improve how you run your Airbnb business. I'm Sean Rakijic, Airbnb host for 7 years, and let's teach you some new stuff that's been happening at Airbnb. Let's jump in. Welcome back, Airbnb family. So there are some really cool, like I said, new features that Airbnb put into play, and one actually I just learned on Twitter yesterday. So it's not air cover related, and yes, we will be talking a lot about Airbnb's air cover update, maybe even some of that stuff in this video. But this very first one actually has to do with an AI algorithm based on search. This is something that's going to help you better understand what your customers want so you can create a better listing. So please like this video, share it with your host friends, because anywhere where they are, this AI changes search experience. It's actually kind of cool. So if you go to the desktop and you're searching for a place, let's say you go to the Poconos, or you go to Winter Park, Colorado, or you go to Miami, when you go and search in a geographical area, Airbnb's built this new system that along the top where it gives you little amenity choices where it's like family friendly or not smoking or parking or whatever across the top instant book, those now change. So they're not static like they used to be. Airbnb's upper bar of bubbles of amenities always used to be just the same thing. What Airbnb's done now is anytime you search in a geographic location, it auto-populates what people find to be the most important amenities in the area. So if you're searching somewhere in the mountains, it'll look for a hot tub and a fireplace. Otherwise, if you're in an urban area, you might find that it's looking for free parking, for example, or like Wi-Fi features or stuff like that. So what this can do for you as an Airbnb host is you should search wherever you currently host, or as part of your market research when picking up new properties, you should do a search in whatever area you will be picking a property in and make a note of what those most common searched for amenities are. You may find that people in your area are always looking to have a gym, or always looking to have pet friendly, or there could be accessibility features. People are disabled, and you might just discover this nuance in your neighborhood that Airbnb now gives you on a silver platter, because they're taking all of that search data that your customers have put into the system and they're putting it right back out front and center whenever you do a search. This can be really helpful for you so you can add key amenities or just make sure you have the right property next time you pick up your next Airbnb. Now, AirCover has some cool features, and I want to tell you just some quick ones, but I need to do a deep dive because there's some real implications on some of these air covers. Now, we as Airbnb hosts have typically had a harder time collecting for no smoking fees, and we really have had the hardest time collecting pet fees, stuff like that. Now, because of AirCover, Airbnb's added a standardized non-smoking fee for violations, a heavy cleaning fee for excessive cleaning, and they've also added an embedded option for a pet fee, just as if you were to put a cleaning fee or an extra nightly rate kind of fee inside the system. Now, what I've noticed is all my old listings don't populate a pet fee, but if I create a new listing, it shows up there. So if you go and search inside your listings when you go to update your amenities or your address or anything like that, and you cannot find a section for pet fee, just simply create a new listing and it should auto-populate there. Now, the downside of this is Airbnb sets a limit on this smoking fee. And you may find, if you have a really big house, if somebody's been smoking inside of a 5-bedroom house over the course of a week, the amount of cleaning it could take to remove that smoke smell could be much more than the statutory amount that Airbnb is willing to give you now due to air cover. So there are pros and cons, and that's why we're going to do a deep dive of the air cover options in a future video. But you should be aware of those starting today. One of the most common questions that people ask me is, how do I know what I should charge per night? How do I first choose a price to charge people? Like, you set a house on Airbnb, and there's really no best practice that 3 bedrooms always go for $300 or a studio always goes for $120. Results may vary city to city, property size, competition. Well, here's something that a lot of you do because you're honest with yourselves when you create a new listing, and by changing this one thing, it'll help you discover a more appropriate price. So now imagine you're creating your new listing. You get to the point where Airbnb is going to try to give you the option of using smart pricing. It's going to ask if you're new to Airbnb or if you've hosted before, and then it's going to ask you how often you'd like to get booked. Now, all of us put as often as possible, and then when it turns on smart pricing on your behalf, it lowers the rate to a really comically low price. What I'd like you to do is write down that comically low price and save it for later. And I'm gonna explain here in just a second. Now, hit the back button, do it again, but use that middle option, which is part-time. I want you to notate the number that it suggests with smart pricing for your base price and like your minimum price and your base price. Write those numbers down again. Then go to the rarely option, the least frequent of the three, and then write down that lowest price and base price again. So now you should have 6 numbers. You should have your, I really, really want to get booked. I want to get booked part-time and I barely want to get booked as your standard numbers, and then the lowest it suggests that you should go. It also includes like a maximum, but we're not turning smart price on. So it is still good to know if your market fluctuates enough where it recommends that you could possibly even potentially triple your rate sometimes. What I want you to use is that rarely number should be your baseline number if you have nothing else to go off of. You should of course go look at your competition, go look at their listings and see what their nightly rates are for their weekdays and their weekends, and find out what the kind of difference between nightly rate is between weekdays and weekends, and start to learn more about pricing that way. And then watch the pricing strategy videos on this channel, because we adapt our prices day to day based on lots of different factors. But if you're looking for prices to start with, if you've got a wide open calendar and dates way off into the future, use that most rarely number. If you've got some bookings that you want to get today, for today or tomorrow, and you want to know that you're going to get booked, then use that I want to get frequently booked number. And so this is going to be your introduction to changing your price based on how confident you are that you're going to get a booking. And a final feature I want to tell you about today that I don't intend on using myself, but it was a peculiar one that I discovered recently. Airbnb now has 2 different cleaning fees that you can offer. You can have a standard cleaning fee, and then you can have a short stay cleaning fee. Basically, if somebody books for 1 or 2 days, you can get the option of having a lower cleaning rate. Now, the reason why we're not going to use it is because we set our cleaning fees based on what our actual literal costs are, and we bake in our profit into our nightly rate. Now, some of you though, who have been using cleaning fees as a way to change like how cheap a single night stay is or a week-long stay is, this might work for you. I don't currently see a big benefit of having 2 separate cleaning fees. It actually makes things just double as complex for us with our pricing strategy, but be known that if you wanted to potentially have a lower cleaning fee because you notice that single night stay guests that book in your place barely use the place, and thus your cleaning expenses are actually lower, then you can let this 2-way cleaning fee reflect that change in what you believe to be your projected costs. It could help you get more bookings for 1 or 2 night stays if you're having a hard time getting them anyway, and those are bookings that you would like to have. So if you have any questions about other features, about our experience with other features, of course I will be doing a bunch more videos on AirCover and some other stuff we've discovered lately, but feel free to ask directly in the questions so that way I can give more love to the stuff that you want to know more about. Thanks for watching the channel as always, guys, and I will see you on the other side.